Change your diet, change your life, change the planet. I'm back in Vermont after 8 days at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, and I have to say it was a blast. Really good to be around so many health-conscious people, athletic people, people interested in eating a clean, simple diet. And also really good to be social, but at the same time, I'm feeling kind of drained. And I'll tell you why. Perhaps due to my YouTube and online persona, people apparently felt the need to come up to me and tell me their stories. It was almost like people were handing me a resume or a business card with their former self inscribed on it. Like, here's my resume, Tim. I lost 50 pounds, I overcame diabetes, I overcame chronic acne, I overcame chronic fatigue, whatever it might be. They were basically checking off a list on their resume, like, these are my qualifications for communicating with you, rather than, hey, how you doing? I want to be there for people. I want to hold space for them and support them, but at the same time, it's just like they're just rattling off their resume. But what gets me the most about this, and the reason that I found it draining, nobody was telling me who they are. They were telling me who they used to be, who they were, not who they are now. Nobody was saying, this is who I am right now, this is who I choose to be in this moment. Because then we have a conversation that's present-based or future-based. This is one of the big foundations for my present practice and learning, is who am I right now? Not who have I been, not where have I come from, but who am I right now? Who do I choose to be in this moment? I believe that any definition that compares yourself to a previous self, especially a previous self that you were not happy with, that you were combating with or competing with or hating or abusing, whatever, as long as you include that person, that aspect of you, that history, in your present definition, you're tied to it. We want to move on, but yet we're holding on to what we don't want to be. We're taking it with us wherever we go. I'm the guy who lost 50 pounds, which means that the guy that was 50 pounds heavier, he's coming with me wherever I go because I keep talking about him. I won't let him go. I won't allow myself to move on. He's a part of me, and I keep reminding myself of that. I keep reminding myself of this history that I don't like, rather than exploring the present, seeing what's available right now, all the things that you haven't looked at, all the things that you haven't done or experienced because you've been too busy being this person that you didn't like and feeling sorry for yourself. What would your future look like if it wasn't tied to your past? Because we get there, we get to the place where we've lost the weight or we've healed the illness, whatever it might be, and we say, look, I'm different, I've changed, I'm better. Well, how do you know? Because I'm looking at who I used to be, because I brought that person along with me, and I can look and I can see the difference. The only way you can notice the difference is if you're holding on to the image of yourself you had in the past. If you let that person go, it doesn't matter how far you've come. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you've been through. You're here. You're present. And the whole world is available. And you don't have to limit yourself to one particular avenue. I'm the person that lost weight. They have these weight loss websites where, look, here's my before picture, here's my after picture, here's all the weight I lost. And that becomes their definition, and that becomes their identity, and that becomes their job, and they're constantly reminded of who they used to be, which is really who they still are, because they haven't let it go yet. Until you let it go, you really can't move on. There is no future for you until you let that past go. It's just more of the past waiting for you in the future. And there will be stumbling blocks, and they'll be falling down, and they'll be backsliding, because if you keep that image of the past, the further away from it you get, the more it wants to spring right back into your life, like a rubber band. The further you stretch that rubber band, the more power it has to snap back, because we haven't let go of it yet. We have to let go at the other end. We only have so many fingers, and the more you're holding on to your past images, the less you can hold on to in the present, the less you can utilize what's available in the present. It's like somebody carrying all this baggage, and then something comes along in the present that they want to grab onto. Carpe diem, seize the day. Well, they can't grab onto it because their hands are full of all their baggage from the past. Another way to look at this, imagine you're a painter and you've got a single canvas that already has a painting on it. And you keep trying to paint and add to the painting, but you're kind of stuck with what's already there on the canvas. You got to throw the canvas away, start fresh. If every time a painter painted, they had to paint with the same canvas and the same image, their paintings would suck, and they'd only have one. So they have to move on. They finish a painting, they move on. They start another one. Blank canvas. Finish it. Start another one. Blank canvas. They don't keep pulling their previous painting with them each time they do a new work. Okay? You gotta let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go! If you study current brain science, you'll know that what we know about memory at this point in time is that every time you recall a memory, you actually rewrite it. You bring it up into your cognitive mind, you tell the story, you relate that memory, and in doing so, you rewrite the memory. It gets retranscribed. So the original memory is now gone, and what you stated gets retranscribed. And our memories are not perfect, so we always add or subtract little details. They're very flexible. It's not like we have this one rigid memory carved in stone that never changes. It changes a lot. Over time, there's a lot of flexibility because every time we recall it, we rewrite it, and it's always a little bit different. So we have these grand stories of who we used to be and who we've become, and most of them are not even that accurate anyway. So we're holding on to a past that's really not that accurate. It's not as if we're doing it intentionally. It's just that every time we recall that memory, it gets changed a little bit of tweak, a little bit of polish, a little bit of glaze, you know, a little bit of mascara and blush, and before you know it, it's a whole new memory. And it sounds really good. We keep polishing it until we get it right down so that when people hear it, they're like, wow, you've been through all that, and look where you are now. And you're like, yeah, I know, look where I am. Where are you? You're sitting right next to who you used to be because you keep talking about it. You keep making it present. You keep making that the present moment. And I'm not saying this is easy to do, to let go of your past, to let go of that comparison. It's not easy. We're wired to do it. But it's a muscle that can be built. And I have the Running Raw project, and part of that project is telling people where I have come from, and that's dangerous. It's problematic for me. I don't want to remember where I've come from. I keep it around so that I can tell people the story so they can relate to me as a human being. Instead of putting me on a pedestal and say, oh, Tim is different than us, by telling them my story, they can say, oh, Tim is just like us. Or maybe even Tim is beneath us. But he's worked really hard to get where he is. What I'd really rather do is drop the story altogether and just be who I am now. I'm the guy who asks questions. I'm the guy who's infinitely curious. I am an ever-expanding question. That's who I am. I explore everything. That's who I am. Tim, what do you do? I ask questions. That's what I do. What do you do?
I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. If you let go of your past and you focus on who you are right now, you'll have something called happiness. You'll have something called excitement and joy. You'll have something called blisters on your feet because you'll be out there so far walking around in the woods that you forget that your socks are soaking wet and your shoes have holes in them, and the day just goes by and you forgot to hydrate and all this stuff, and you're starving now because you're undercalmed. But at least you're out there in the world exploring, so it's all worth it. It's totally worth it, okay? So get out there and let go of your past and get some blisters on, because you can't say blister without first saying bliss. Know what I'm saying? Okay, you know what I'm saying. I know you do. Alright, see ya.